Can we just take a moment to ignore my mess behind me and appreciate this day 3 hair that I got going on? Look at it. Look at it. Appreciate the neutrals. Do you see it? Do you see it? Oh, this is natural lighting, baby. Check it out. Oh, what's this? I match my shirt. Oh, of course I do. I'm so neutrality.
Oh, this is what it feels like. Oh, this is what it feels like.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know me, I don't know why you haven't known me yet. I've been on YouTube for a really long time, and I tend to get an average of about 15 views per video. Sarcasm, or really just the sad reality of the situation. I joined Greek life my sophomore year, and I've been in a total of it for 3 years now. And now I guess I'm considered an alumna, and now that I've closed that chapter of my life, I decided why don't I open up and talk to you guys all about my Greek life experience. This is why I don't like cheap makeup, but I can only afford cheap makeup. Is it gone? It's gone. Okay. Okay guys, so let's start from the very beginning that I was a sophomore when I joined recruitment, and freshman year was a hard time for me. I went to a college that I didn't know anybody. People started making cliques right away, and the clique that I was in was very cliquey and had quite the leash on me. And they just started getting into drugs, and I just was not into that. So I decided that I needed to push back from that friend group, and I needed to meet people. So sophomore year, I signed up to go through recruitment by myself. And I was very nervous, but I heard it wasn't a huge deal being by yourself. And I'd have to say that it's not terrible. People kind of mind their own business. They're not looking over at you if you have no friends in between visiting houses or chapters. So if you do it by yourself, you know, I understand you're nervous, but don't let that keep you from not going through Greek life if that is something that you really want to do. Another thing is, I would say do not go outside of your closet to impress. And so if you are required to wear a sundress and you don't own a sundress, do go out and buy a sundress. If you need to wear white and you don't got white, go out and buy some white, okay? You don't want to be that person who tries to be rebellious during something ridiculous time like this, okay? There's other things that you can rebel on in life, and this is not one of them. What I mean by this is if you have a good girl look, do not go out of your way to dress emo to impress someone. Now, I don't know what sorority really is emo, but you never know these days, okay? But the same goes off with trying to be preppy when, you know, if you're not a preppy person, you know, don't dress preppy. It's not worth it because you're going to be attracting the people that you don't want as your people. As cool as it seems, it's not really fun if you have sisters who don't have your back. Now, every house has pretty much a stereotype to it, and it gets really hard when everybody's attacking one of them that's already going downhill, and especially if they're attacking the girls for being lame. Because lame girls sometimes are the coolest girls around, along with the fact that they cherish friendships a lot more. Because the reason that they might be lame is because they're not as materialistic as the other ones. So do consider that. And unfortunately, those lame chapters sometimes lived up to their stereotypes when I was in there, and I felt so bad for them, and it was because they were awkward. Awkwardness kills everything, and I felt so bad about that because one girl that you meet does not always represent the entire chapter, and also that girl could be really fun, but she's under such strict Panhellenic rules of what she can talk about. She's probably not the best at making a first impression, or she just doesn't know how to talk to a stranger. There maybe wasn't enough practice done behind the scenes leading up to this recruitment, but you gotta keep talking. You can't just walk out and leave that room. You are stuck in that room till Panhellenic says that you can leave. So you better be ready to smile for a long time, talk a lot. You will lose your voice. Both parties will lose their voice. Now, I don't want to be somebody who encourages a tattletale. Nobody likes a tattletale. But if somebody does something that's disrespectful to you, you need to report them. Now, I would say that one of our rules, which I think is across the board, is that when you're in the recruitment room, recruiters cannot touch PNMs. Now, it was time to leave a room, and if you don't have the PNMs gone by a certain time, you get an infraction, which means that sorority will get a fine. Well, I was walking just like the rest of the girls, just fine, but one girl in this sorority had the audacity to shove me forward to get me out the door. Now, I was so afraid of reporting that because I figured they're going to find out, they're going to attack me, it's going to be a big deal. A lot of times, they really don't remember all the girls that they meet, And so if they remember having that rude interaction with you, they're still not going to remember to diss you on campus. They're going to ignore you already if you're not in their house. And to remember, if somebody treats you like that, you probably don't want to be a part of their chapter to begin with. So you're not burning a bridge. At the end of the day, I was able to go to bed fine, but there are some girls who will go through recruitment who are shyer and lack confidence. And when they go to sleep, they hold on to that kind of stuff, and that actually really hurts their feelings and they take it personally. I ended up not reporting the girl. And sometimes I wish that I did, because that sorority ended up being pretty rude. So I would say weigh your options to see if you really want to report a sorority. But it's just a thought. But, don't over exaggerate. If something happens and they accidentally touch you, or if they touch you in a kind manner, that's not worth reporting them. That's just causing drama. Don't be that girl. Don't be that PNM. I visited the coolest house ever. The most popular girls, pretty much all blondes, and it was heaven. They were on point. When they greeted us, their jumping dance was all in sync. Usually you see a little bit of this motion going on. No, it was like this. Perfect down the board. All the way while I walked in between them, looking left and right, and underneath the balloon arches and the dream catchers that were all around, and the pinks and the blues, and it was beautiful. And it just was a magical time. And I could say why they're the coolest sorority, because their cohesion within their dance really represented the cohesion that they had with sisterhood. So I don't exactly know what ended up being the truth about their sisterhood. I heard mixed feelings about that, but I don't think there was any more drama at that house than there was with other sororities. There's always certain areas within each chapter that's going to have some tension. Now, fast forward to the next day. This is when we learned all about their philanthropy, and I was asked back to the hot sorority, and I was so excited. Yeah, I'm so hot. That's how I felt, okay? I think that's how everybody felt when they were asked back, because everybody knew how popular they were. It wasn't a question about it. Everybody knew. Now, the girl who talked me into going through recruitment, she was in this sorority. And she kind of pulled me aside away from the girl that I was with to introduce me to everybody. And she must have known how her ranking works, that I needed to meet lots of people. And I was complimenting them left and right. However, I probably then at that point looked more desperate than chill, like their chillaxing vibe that they do have. And I think maybe my compliments were deemed as annoying, felt like a suck up, something of the sort. But the compliments themselves were genuine. I did like those shoes. Her hair was on point. So that girl took me around and around about, and then after that night, I found out that that girl had a situation where she was in trouble for something with her sorority that made her not be able to go back the next day through recruitment. And since I was her girl, all of a sudden I wasn't asked back on the third day, on pref day. And I know pref day for that sorority isn't finalized if you go to that round. Some people, it's an automatic bid from that sorority, but I don't think it was, and so I'll never know. But I have to just rightfully think that I was not as loved as I wish I was by the hot sorority, but okay. The first sorority was one that I was already not a huge fan of. I did have kind of a buddy in it, but I just felt like that when I was asking them questions that they sounded very robotic with how they went about answering them. And I know that Penn Atlantic has strict rules, but there's creative ways to sound interesting and not sound like you're being secretive and keeping information from us. So I was not having that. But then there was another sorority that was interested in me, and I was pretty interested in them. Every girl that I talked to was pretty easy with conversation. They were on the more unique side, and they practiced leadership. They were fairly new on campus. I think they were the newest ones, and they do kind of get a bad reputation, but they were moving up the works about winning games and being able to interact with cooler fraternities. So, I felt like I bonded with them. I liked the girls that I met, and I wanted it. I wanted to be in a sorority. And it took forever for bid night to come. I wanted bid night so bad. I just wanted it to be over with. And I was so mad because I know this sounds bad, but I heard this is what it's called in Greek life, the term, is that you can suicide in your ranking process where you only rank one sorority at the end, and if you get selected into another one, your bid gets dropped. So I went to 2 sororities at prep day. I ranked my favorite one, and then I ranked the one that I really didn't want to be a part of, but I felt like I could survive because I just wanted to be a part of Greek life. And the whole time I was a nervous wreck thinking that I got them. And then so I get to bid night, and there are all these shirts face down on the gymnasium floor. And so we're all sitting in circles, and we can't look to see what shirt we have. I'm so nervous because little did I know, both those sororities chose to have the exact same color shirt. Finally, they said that we could look. I quickly flipped up the shirt. It said the sorority that I wanted. I was so excited, and everybody I looked around was hugging each other, these freshmen. And then I realized I went through recruitment by myself. So I awkwardly texted my mom, and then I think a couple friends, and then made sure to go back and forth again with emojis and looking around, and some of these girls, you know, were my sisters, and I didn't know who they were. You know, I didn't know how to go up to them and be like, oh, let's hug, sisters, ah! I'm not like that at all, okay? I wouldn't say that I'm not a hugging person, but I'm not someone who thinks that we're instantly best friends just because a teacher tells us to be. So that was really hard. Then we did a group picture, and I felt like we were forced to kind of hang out a little bit more. But people who went through recruitment with friends, sometimes they got the exact same house or chapter. So those girls were all talking to each other, and I kind of found myself alone yet again. But eventually I found a girl who had curly hair, so she kind of understood the big hair problems. And we talked and we bonded, and we ended up being friends. She did transfer. I like to think we're still friends, but, you know, we can't be best friends because we haven't really caught up in a while, and I need to visit her, or she needs to visit me. But she was just a really nice girl, and she gave me hope that I was going to love my sorority. And I took that group picture, and they all seemed like such strangers, but I knew that this was where I belonged. This was my home. Things were going to be okay. So for any of you sorority girls have advice for PNMs, please leave it in the comments. If you like this video, please click the like button. I will be continuing on with my Greek life stories. Ooh. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay, bye guys.